Respected Shri R.S. Sodhi, Managing Director, Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation Limited, Amul. Dr. D.M. Pestunji, Chairman, Academic Council, AHRD, and former Professor IIM Ahmedabad. Dr. Gary McLean, President McLean Global Consultancy, served as professor at several universities across the globe, recipient of several awards, and a big mention that he has supervised 104 doctoral students to completion. Dr. Rajeshwari Narendran, Honorary Director, AHRD, and Professor at Mohanlal Sukhadiya University. Our distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to you once again. We are pleased to share with you that AHRD Ahmedabad, AHRD Global, and conference partners IIM Ahmedabad and Department of Business Administration, MLSU, have sponsored in nurturing this international research conference. We have been immersed in global research and practices of sustainable development of human capital for the past 3 days. There have been several exchanges over coffee, lunch, and mini breaks. The exchanges have fostered new thoughts to practicing managers and academicians to come together to bridge the gap between practice and theory. The influence of organizations to interact with academic stalwarts help in redefining and fine-tuning the HRD practices.
There were several panel discussions, and to mention a few, panel discussions on trans-global perspective on sustainable development, industry-academy interface, bridge between HRD, theory, research, and practice. How are the youth icon HR leaders addressing the multi-generational workforce, human resource development review sessions, joint AHRD special interest group meeting for India, China, and Korea to share their report and future developments of HRD, journal editor panels on academic publishing by HRD Quarterly, HRD Development Review, and HRD Development International. Dr. Rick Holden conducted a workshop on relevant but rigorous developing scholarly practices outcomes in HRD. They were held with great sharing and enthusiasm. Several panel members are expert in their subject domain, and they shared their perspective during the sessions.
The conference morning began with yoga. That was to bring body, mind, and soul to be in union with the cosmos. The cultural event by the Mudra School of Dance gave a glimpse of Indian dance and music. This was to give a flair of Indian culture and tradition to our delegates. The delegates were delighted in peeping through the historical monuments and the buzz of Ahmedabad city. Parallel sessions were held for conferences and delegates to present their research papers and work-in-progress papers, and what was noteworthy was the suggestions and the review that delegates got from the members. Be it quality of work-life balance or fostering ethics in organization through education, or learning and development in HRD, a Sufi perspective, were some of the tracks that were conducted. The amalgamation has been symbiotic and synergetic. This interface is important for industry and academicians.
Sustainability of HRD lies in the sincere attempt to interface the two. Innovative HRD interventions, research and HR analytics, and macro perspective of learning and development, behavioral dynamic in human resources has helped in understanding appropriate strategies to take the workforce. We had the opportunity with the leading thought leaders in their area of specialization that were global and interventions that were practical and intruding to take research to another level. We are extremely delighted that the conference has given many ideas, thoughts, and opinions to mull over.
We are all lifelong learners, and that's why we are here. May I now request Dr. Rajeshwari Narendran to welcome the dignitaries. Dr. Rajeshwari Narendran. A big round of applause, please. I love claps.
No, let me remain the host. Good evening. Thank you so much for the, 4 wonderful days. And I really feel so honored and privileged that I become your prime host. though there are so many partners, but I, on behalf of Academy of HRD Global, Academy of HRD India, IIM Ahmedabad, and Mohanlal Sukhadia University Department of Business Administration, I extend a warm welcome to one and all in this function. Well, when you have people, those who have made a marked difference to the entire economy of India for decades, it makes me feel so proud, so honored, and so privileged as I welcome the most wanted brand of milk and milk products in India, that is called Amul. Anand Milk Union Federation जो है उसका that is the the acronym we give is AMUL, Amul, which makes chocolates to everything, and it's the most preferred brand. So I'm going to read a small profile of Mr. Rupinder Singh Sodhi, who is the Managing Director of Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, popularly known as Amul, which is India's largest food products marketing organization. Let me tell you here one small thing, that the milk revolution and the green revolution are the two marked revolutions which has changed the Indian economy and have made the country self-reliant. And I feel so proud that the legacy what Dr. Kurian created is visible here in the presence of Mr. Sodhi. So that's really awesome to have him here. And I would also like to tell here that it benefits, it is owned by 3.5 million milk producers of Gujarat. It's a cooperative, one of the largest cooperative, which has attracted many case studies from across the globe to study this model. What has made the change in the villagers' life who were having only cow rearing? But how can they become the backbone of a country's economy? That has been phenomenal. Coming back to Mr. Sodhi, he has got about 32 years of very rich experience in leading and developing cooperative sector within Indian dairy industry, having served dairy farmers in several capacities. He has been responsible for creating the current structure of the Amul, enabling the organization to maintain and enhance its leadership status within Indian dairy industry. I would wish everyone to please clap for him. And here comes the National President of Indian Society for Training and Development, Dr. R. Karthikeyan. His flight got delayed, which I was fearing already. Coming from Delhi and escaping from smog. At this time, not possible. Yeah. So he is our guest of honor, Dr. R. Karthikeyan. He is a clinical psychologist, HR trainer, management consultant, writer, and now a management educator. He heads Gemba Management Consulting Private Limited, a management consulting company focusing in HR solutions for the corporate sector. He has a very, very rich experience with the major MNCs, with Ford, Visteon, BMW, Ashok Leyland, TVS, ICICI Bank, Satyam, Titan, and many others. But more than that, I know Karthik is a personal friend, and even more than that, I know that he is one of the wonderful trainers across in India. That's why he is the National President of Indian Society for Training and Development, which I relinquished 2 years ago, and then now he's heading the same thing. Of course, how can, when AHRD is hosting a function in Ahmedabad, and when we always look upon the pillar, the foundation, and the pillar which takes entire pressure of the building on it, in the name of Dr. D.M. Pastanji. Sir, though is the founder of Academy of HRD in India, also a professor in IIM Ahmedabad, who has done breakthrough research in stress management way back in early 60s and have proved to be one of the most proud psychologists in India. And he still, has got so much of energy that even today I was asking, sir, please give me some tips. What do you eat to keep that energy level on? And I'm sure he must be having a lot of nuts and dry fruits or some secret recipes there which I may take from ma'am. Well, we have the presence of Gary here. I think the title what Gary got in this conference is cute. And I came to know one interesting thing. Wherever he goes, all the girls take pictures with him. And his daughters are asking, how do you attract these many beautiful women? Besides being a serious researcher who has produced 104 research scholars, my God, what a feat. I must become your prodigy soon. So, and he's the one who is there to rock all of us with his hard-hitting but corrective comments on what do you do, what you do not do, what is expected as a researcher, what is not expected as a researcher, what are the skills you should hone so that you become that one like a centurion of the paper presentations. So I owe a big thank you to you, Gary, for being there. And here I hand over the mic to Meenakshi and Shrestha, our masters of ceremony, so that they can continue and we can continue to learn from each one of us here.
Thank you, ma'am. It's always a delight to hear from you. And we're so happy to have the distinguished guests introduced by her. May I now request our guest of honor, National President, Indian Society for Training Development, to say a few words to our conference delegates. Yes, I think we've been keeping on time for all the conferences in track 1 and 2. Thank you.
I was about to say this, like, very sorry for the delay. The delay is due to the external weather and it's out of our control because I've been hearing this for last 2 days. It's more a kind of conditioning I was about to repeat. Let me jump into the subject straight. She knows my occupational hazard of not keeping the time. So let me be as brief as I can. Dignitaries on the stage and people whom we have seen on textbooks, and it's very great to see people there live. And dignitaries other side, illuminaries, some of you I'm able to spot. I think many of you all over the world, I must say. It's unfair for me to start talking when I come at the fag end of the program and as if I'm going to give you a sermon. What I can understand is this is a place with a lot of high energy. For a change, I am seeing so much of smiles at the end of a conference. So give a big hand for whoever has put that smiles on your face. I came here, it was, it's a promise for a friend which has been 2 years old to come over here. And I thought I kept, okay, of course. I traveled all over and been here. Quickly, if I can just jot down and if I can and connect a few things from being here. I'm not going to talk about AHRD and I'm not going to get into talking about the subject, but for coming all the way, I think you would have made up that I'm a clinical psychologist who turned and straight into a management consulting and in training, and you'll be wondering what this guy is all about. I feel in terms of relevance of a blended approach more than before, more than 30 years before when I accidentally chanced into the field of management. Today, in the words of Stephen Hawking, if you say that AI is going to be bring the end of our civilization and if it's going to get into a mass extinction, and everyone is talking about technology everywhere, whichever conference I go, at least one good portion of it, people talk in terms of machine learning, you're talking about analytics, you're talking about artificial intelligence, we are talking about how in terms of robots are going to beat you. Starts with very, in a say, benign manner, how you can use your artificial intelligence, slowly kind of mounting how they are going to replace you. Now, I thought I'll just leave this only one thought if it's relevant here for everyone. maybe everyone is telling you how to use the machines. I think Google and Netflix, and if you look in terms of, have changed the games rather. Today, we have a different kind of problem. I was there in Economic Times Roundtable yesterday, and I was saying this. Today, I mean, the problem of Maruti is not Ford or Hyundai. It is Ola and Tesla. So I think we have, if we take into enemies or into competitors, completely unknown, unguarded. Okay, everyone is talking about it, and everyone says that you're going to be outsmarted soon, and it's as good as into watching a science fiction movie. Then, if that is the case, where are we and what are we going to do? I still feel that we have a lot of relevance if we can focus on the things which technology can never replace human beings. If we can look into the areas like trust, like love, like sensitivity, like empathy. Maybe today, I think the teachers have a problem if you try to fill up the knowledge at a kind of cognitive level. I'm sure students are going to match, I mean, you're not going to match them because if you take the velocity of learning is going to be much faster with the machines around. But I think teachers, if they can understand what's wrong on the other side with the face, okay, with a smile, or what kind of hurts them, and if you can play a role of the human touch over there, we have a lot of significance. And I'm seeing that 20 years back we were not talking about stress management. We were not talking as much about the stuff like happiness. Today the mindfulness has come in a big way from the Vipassana route, from there to Buddhism over here. And I see, yoga has been back in full form in every, I can say, a complete circle all over. And again, we need a kind of scientific claim from somewhere to say in terms of neurophysiological claims to say that meditation is more beneficial, which probably a place where thousands of years before that we have all those documented evidences. So we stand before a time of a transition where your entire history is going to be rewritten in such a short time. People at the other side of 50 would know this. Car has been a great dream or an aspiration for someone when you're in 20s. And now you're going to see, in terms of owning a car is going to be an old habit which is under extinction in another decade from now. So you see in terms of how you struggle to get a telephone, and now how you're going to see it completely changing. We see a complete cycle of technology coming and taking your life, and if you split somewhere like me, I just came in the early of 90s, exactly midpoint of my career. If you see, it's two worlds are completely different apart. We have a huge scope if you're able to touch on the compassion, work on the human side, and the things which the machines can never ever touch. The good news is there is quite a lot of them, and we need to dig deeper. The deep dive is not in terms of machine technology. I think the deep dive has to more in terms of inner technology, which I think this seed is there already there in, I'm sure, into a lot of minds. How we are going to do it together, how we are doing it, do it in the family, especially when, the times have become so shorter. I was doing a psychotherapy some 5 years back, and she was telling me I just broke with my boyfriend, and I said, okay, so no, I just told him and I'm moving on. How did you communicate? Text message. That is the pace. And this was 5 years back. So I was worried, where are we going? Okay, so breaking with a text message is the pace we are talking about. And we are going to build organizations, families, social institutions, everything around this space being the center. Now, just to say that seriously the last one is here, is that someone was asking about skill development and how are we going. I said, everyone is running fast. Speed looks to be more important than the direction, but it's always the direction that matters, not the speed. I leave with the thought. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. May I now request Dr. Rajeshwari Narendran to please welcome our guest with a book. Thank you, ma'am. Well, it's celebration time now. We are proud to announce that AHRD confers fellowship titles to AHRD fellows who have completed their doctoral research. We are proud to announce that AHRD proudly presents the fellowship title, and may I request our chief guest, Sri R.S. Sodhi, to confer the titles to our AHRD fellow scholars. Mr. Vishwanathan Joshi. Mr. Sriram Darba. Miss Nobina Banerjee. And Mr. Naresh Mittal. Naresh Mehta, I'm so sorry.
The International Journal of HRD Practice and Policy and Review selected the best paper. The Certificate of Merit is awarded to Bipul Kumar, Sailesh Tiwari, Matthew Varghese, Abhishek Kumar. Could you please come together? Big round of applause, because this is from the International Journal of HRD Practice. Rick Holden. Now I know Thank you very much for that. The second award goes to Gary McLean. I mean, he had to get another prize. Can you imagine? Laura Willis and Nadir for a paper presentation. A big round of applause. I'm sure he's got a room full of all these awards. Yes, Ashutosh Jani, Certificate of Merit to Ashutosh Jani. The Certificate of Merit also goes to Senthil Kumar and Alan Kuriakos. Big round of applause. And one more award to Naipal Singh. Naipal Singh, a big round of applause Congratulations to all the participants. The best paper of the conference that the jury has conferred is to Jung Lee, Mandari Bapasara Vijayarathame. Could you please come forward? Upam Pushpak Makecha, another best paper at the conference. Yes, the best paper of the conference. Upam Pushpak and Farhim Fatima. Just a word of mention that the Academy of Human Resource Development, on the recommendation of the Board of Examiners, complete all the requirements for the fellow program in human resource development and organizational development, and that's how the fellow associates and the fellow scholars get their PhD. So congratulations to all the PhD scholars. A big round of applause. And all the participants. I'm sure next year we will all be here. Congratulations and keep learning, and may the spirit of curiosity be alive each day.
We were fortunate to hear Dr. Gary McLean in several of our sessions, and it was an enriching experience to hear him share his views. May I now request Dr. Gary McLean and AHRD Thailand team to launch the AHRD Asia Conference brochure.
I have made many transformations during this conference. One pretty significant when I become a Thai. And so I am very, very happy to participate in the handing over ceremony of the conference responsibility from India to Thailand. And I would like to call on my two colleagues, Dr. Jude and Dr. Uwe, to participate with me. I will be the coordinator for the conference representing the Academy of HRD board, and Dr. Uwe and Dr. Jude are the co-chairs of the host conference committee. So Dr. Uwe, I think first is going to issue the invitation. Come on.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Uwe. I'm from the Graduate School of HRD, NIDA, Thailand. And I am here speaking on behalf of my colleagues here and the Graduate School of HRD. First, we would like to thank you for welcoming us to this warm conference. And we also would like to invite all of you to the next year conference held in Bangkok, Thailand during November the 8th to the 10th, 2018, so that we can welcome you all to our home, Bangkok, Thailand. We are looking forward to meet you all. Thank you.
We are going to ask Dr. Jude at this point to make a small gift to the India conference team in appreciation for all of their work as we now take on the mantle of responsibility for offering to all of you a conference that is at least as good as this, and we hope for some continuous improvement in the process. Dr. Jude. Thank you. So we have prepared as a school a brief video presentation, and we're trying hard to keep within our time limit here, so I think we're ready to go. And we invite you to see the wonders of Thailand, the wonderful institution that is hosting the conference, and the wonderful hotel that the conference is going to be held in. And then you're not going to get rid of me too quickly. I'm going to come back with just a few more words. Can we get the lights turned down? Some more. Thank you.
So come and join us, it's simple to get here. Once in a lifetime, the new and old as one in perfect harmony. Oh, the world is here, leave all your cares behind, we know that you will find. Once in a lifetime, so many welcome friends before your time has ended. It's your destiny. We know you won't forget the land of the thousand dreams. To fill your memories each day till the end of time. Sharing your smile, it has to be Thailand, once in a lifetime. A world of make-believe, sharing your smile, it has to be Thailand, once in a lifetime.
Don't turn the lights on yet. That's only the first part. That's Thailand. Now we're going to show you the school.
From then on, determination and devotion in every part. The National Institute of Development Administration, the only public university in Thailand that offers only graduate degrees. This is the place that produces quality human resources according to His Majesty the King's address. Every one of you who has graduated from this institution is considered to possess a high level of academic competence. Therefore, you are the hope for all ties, including myself, who rely on your knowledge, ideas, wisdom, and ability to administer and develop our country for greater stability, progress, and happiness. The National Institute of Development Administration, or NIDA, focuses on educating and developing management and development skills that are essential to the improvement of the Thai nation. NIDA emphasizes on research, training, and providing educational services to governmental, public, and private sectors, as well as to the general public.
From a small-scale academic scheme in response to the government's policies, continued determination and intense devotion towards academic progress have turned this humble action of yesterday into the School of Human Resource Development in November 2006, becoming one of NIDA's top performance organizational entities. It was then the nation's first academic division that offered higher education in the discipline. From then on, determination and devotion in every part of this organizational entity have been even more intensified. Knowledge dissemination and continued research efforts have been carried out with a strong awareness of great burdens for national people development placed on the faculty.
Bangkok is a modern metropolis filled with culture and bursting with life.
Old and new exist in harmony, and nowhere can you experience this more authentically than at the Sukosol.
Welcome to our town.
Welcome to our hotel.
We're all done?
That's done. This is the end credit for the...
Well, thank you for paying attention to that. How many of you have been to Thailand? Is it a good place to go? It's a wonderful place to go. I've been teaching off and on at NIDA since 1996, I think. And several of us in the room are faculty members there, both faculty from the U.S. as well as faculty from Thailand who have been teaching in the adult education program. Back in the mid-60s, there was a very significant book that was written by Dr. Donald Schoen, and it was called The Reflexive Practitioner. And one of the significant, important, and often overlooked interventions in our field has been the concept of reflection. And so as we draw to a close this particular conference, in addition to adding my own words of thanks and appreciation for all of the work and all of the wonderful experiences that we've had here, I want to invite each of you to reflect upon what your experience here has been, how it will influence your practice in the classroom, how it will influence your practice in the industry and business and community and government activities. I have asked people informally what they like most about the conference. What do you think it is? That's way low. People. It's about people, about relationships, about conversations, about networking, about how wonderful it has been to expand our circle of conversations and our circle of connections. That's what human resource development is all about. Dr. AHRD and I were so struck by the comments of Dr. Rao, and Dr. Rao has a relationship with both of us that go back a long ways, when he talked about the criticisms of human resource development. And it's a concern that we've all had for a long time, but didn't have a very good idea about how we could replace it with something else. The three of us are now undertaking to write an article, and we're not quite sure yet what we're going to call it, but we're going to call it something like, what's in a name, question mark, HRD or HPD. And we're suggesting that what we're really about in HRD is about helping people develop their potential or develop their possibilities. And that's what we've been exploring in this particular conference. I want to close my comments, and I'm going to take a big risk here, because I'm drawing a story that was actually positioned here in South Asia, and some of you may already have heard the story from me before or from some other source. The story goes that there are two kids in a village, and they're sort of troublemakers. And they thought, you know, we're going to get back at the elder. The elder is always keeping us under such constraint. We're going to show him/her what things are all about. So they went to the elder with a bird that they had caught, and they put the bird in their hand. And they said, "Elder, is this bird dead or alive?" And the rationale here is that if the elder said it's alive, they would crush it and prove the elder wrong. On the other hand, if the elder said the bird is dead, they would remove their hands and say, "No, it's alive," as it flies away. So the elder thought for a few minutes, and he finally came back and said, "The answer, my children, is in your hands." And folks, that's the message I want you to take with you away from this conference on human resource development. Are we going to survive in a healthy way as humans? Are we going to find peace? Are we going to find love? Are we going to find happiness? The answer, my folks, is in your hands. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gary McLean, and sharing your thoughts with us. But what I really liked was the answer is in our hands, and the little story about the bird. But what's amazing is we are all landing up in Thailand, and so we'll have to save a lot of money to reach there. I propose AHRD is not going to sponsor that. So sharing your smile with Thailand, we are coming to Thailand very soon. Thank you very much for that lovely brochure and explanation of the program. As we move forward, today our guest of honor, Dr. D.M. Pestunji, Chairman, Academic Council of AHRD, to say a few words and encourage the delegates who have gone through the PhD program and the delegates who have given their best papers for this International Research Conference. Dr. D.M. Pestunji. Big round of applause.
I have a small presentation which is loaded so that I could keep the time. I was reflecting on the various themes, sub-themes, and most of the presentations which I had opportunity to sit through. And I have a few comments. My first observation is that HRD has a long past but a very short history. And what we know about HRD today is really a very restricted view about the discipline. Concern for the human element has been several hundred years old, even chronicled. Starting from the first inaugural session, the poser I have for all of you is, What do you want to highlight? H or R? Is it the human who is more important or the resource which is more important? Yeah. The choice is yours. And your research orientations and what you do with yourself and with your organization depends on which one seems to be more important to you. Long time back, I proposed this 3H approach of HRD. Interestingly, it's not listed in entered any of the textbooks, so not many people know about it. When you look at the history, you find that there was a time when humans were not more than hands. The only relationship between the organization and the individual was the relationship of hands. Then comes the time, and it still persists, we are more concerned about the head. So a lot of things about abilities and learning, development, training, improve the head, something in the head, and you get a better organization. I don't know whether you get a better human being. But organizations started looking at resource, and the head is a vital resource. Only now that we talk about the human heart. And when I talk about the heart, I'm talking about feelings, compassion, many things. So these are the three developmental stages which I have seen in relation to HR or HRD, various places. In between, we had the human being as the socius, and we talked about the primary social systems and the secondary social systems and identities which we all have, which organizations give us. And before we enter the organizations, we get identity from other social systems like family, nationality, religion, caste, etc. And now comes positive psychology, which some of us have been talking about in whispers here. Optimism, resilience, compassion, empathy, happiness. Two of my scholars have worked on some of these things. One was on optimism and how mergers and acquisitions in organizations success or fail depending on the optimistic orientation which the people around them have. Another gentleman worked on the concept of happiness and developed a happiness quotient for organizations. He even developed a happiness sort of studio. Coming to other issues which generally have not been talked much about here is one of my old concerns about executive health. And as HR professionals, I think this is one particular theme which not many HR professionals are willing to consider as relevant for their organizations. But it's becoming important. And when I look at health, I'm looking at psychological issues which are becoming more and more pronounced in industrial organizations, and mental health issues in organizational context. My own work on stress, I consider happens to be an interface area between HR and clinical psychology. And I find some emerging trends. Tolerance for stress is going down, whether we like it or not. We had discussions about Gen Y, millennials, but I think their value systems need to be understood. We talked about a lot of impact which technology is making on what they are doing, but also their values are different from earlier times. What's coming up now, maybe it's a very limited view, is HR and its partnership in high performance work systems, workplace spirituality, moving, as I call it, moving beyond the Annakosh. This word Annakosh may sound a little problematic for most of us, Indians and non-Indians both. What it means is that the human existence at a very fundamental, basic level with which most of us are concerned is the most fundamental human existence is what we call annakosh. Annakosh means something which depends on food grains. So our corporeal body, our physical body, that is where we stop as HR professionals. We are concerned with the human being, not in its totality. We are concerned about what that individual is and what an individual can do. But there is something beyond annakosh, and that's where workplace spirituality and things of this nature come in. I have this fear, and I was glad that Karthikeyan mentioned about this word neurosciences. Very soon, HR professionals will have to at least read some articles in Reader's Digest or somewhere about neuroscience and understand how human beings behave and why. Then studies on stress across cultures is another area which possibly can give us a lot of mileage. And I think for the next conference in Thailand, maybe people may pick up this as a theme or sub-theme and start doing something on it. And something which is not very pleasant, but I can't hold myself back from asking this issue to be investigated. That is HR practices of HR professionals. It's like, asking the medical fraternity to tell us about their own health status, or asking the mental health professionals to tell us something about their mental health status. It's an unpleasant question, it's a hard question, but it's an important question. If we are looking at problem of attrition in organizations, many HR professionals keep talking about, how many times they have themselves changed their jobs? Have they ever reflected why? How can you expect people to give us solutions when they are themselves suffering from those type of disorders? So, friends, sorry, but I might have told you the wrong things. I mean, not very pleasant or flattering things. But I'm reminded of something a little humorous, paying my tribute to Professor Uday Parikh, who was the moving spirit in establishment of the whole HR movement in the country. In fact, he started with two lines of research which many people don't know. One was HR, the second was stress. It was Dr. T.V. Rao who picked up the HR side and I picked up the stress side. But the fact remains that we were both inspired by having the opportunity to work with him. He had this quip, which was a very humorous quip. He said people go to attend training programs, and I just said instead of training program you read conferences. And he said that there are people who are of three categories. See, the first category of people who attend conferences are what he classified as seekers. These are people who have questions, who want to know answers, find answers to their problems. So they come to a place to find answers. They are seekers, they seek knowledge. Second is people who are cynics, who said, yeah, it's just all right, people talk all big things, we go back and nothing works. So nice things to know about so many concepts, so many theories. I go back to my organization, I just can't implement any of these things. These people are very nice people, polite people, gentle people, but they know that it doesn't work. And the third one is what he classified as the tourist model. Please don't think that Thailand happens to be, that was not my intention at least. So, with this, I wish you all the best, and maybe we meet somewhere else. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Pesanji, for providing us the scope for the future, and particularly about the seekers, cynics, and the tourists. And thank you for blessing all the participants and the conference delegates. Let us be in good health, harmony, and happiness, and humor, as you always mention. Today, it is valedictory for our conference, and it's indeed an honor to have our chief guest, Shri R.S. Sodhi, Managing Director, Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation Limited, Amul, to give the valedictory speech to our conference delegates. Shri R.S. Sodhi, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Respected Dr. D.M. Pestanji, Dr. Gary, Dr. Kritkene, Dr. Rajeshri. I'm honored that I've been called to this International HR Summit or conference. When Dr. Rajeshri called me, invited me for this to come and attend it, I was very surprised and happy. Surprised that why a milkman or dudwala has been called to a conference which is of HR experts, researchers and practitioners. I mean, frankly speaking, last 36 years, I know only milk, milk, milk. So I don't know where HR gets into, so I thought let me look into. When she called me, I thought, now let me see, go back, my whole thing, where I'll get something. I was very happy to know that when this World International Summit has been organized at Ahmedabad, and when I went through a whole agenda, and I was very happy. At least I learned something, and I learned from Dr. Pesanji now heart is becoming more important, both in HR also and everywhere now people talk about heart. Lot of hospitals are opening here. So what I want, because you all are experts, I mean all are veteran. I don't think I can give you any sermons or any advice on anything. What I can share you is something from Amul, something what I have from my life with Amul with last 36 years, and it's my first job. And I'll share few things, and you can conclude whatever theory or whatever, I mean, you have got certain research and whatever things, lessons from that, or some thing which you feel is useful. Well, most of you are maybe from this place around or India. Amul, it is a 70 years old Indian food brand or dairy company. It's India's biggest food brand, of more than $5 billion turnover or more than 30,000 crore. And although we are 70 or 72 years, but still we are growing. I mean, compared to all FMCG company in India, the world's best MNCs are present. We are much ahead of them, both turnover-wise also and growth rate-wise also. Last 7 years, our growth rate is 19%. And why it is there? I mean, there are a lot of things. In short, what I can say is that organizations are here today because of their DNA or the culture. And culture or DNA has been founded by the founders. About 1946, Amul was founded, when India was not independent. And the farmers of this part of Gujarat were exploited by the private dairy entrepreneur Paulson. He was not giving good price to the farmers, especially during winter when you have got more milk. And farmers went to that time Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was later on the Deputy Prime Minister of India from this part of Gujarat, that look here, this Paulson has got monopoly from Britishers to buy milk from us. Nobody was allowed to buy milk from that part of Gujarat that is called Kera or Anand. When we have got more milk, he reduces the price. What to do? So that time, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel told them that if you want good price for your produce, you should not only produce it, you should own the whole supply chain. That is, you should process and market yourself. That was the business lesson given to the farmers 72 years back, which holds true today also. In any agriculture produce, if farmers want, because there are small holders in India, you should not only produce it, you should yourself process and market it. And that is the reason why Amul, which is now membership, is around 3.6 million farmers are the member of this cooperative. And they are attached with us and they are gaining day by day, because whatever we get from you in the market, 85% goes back to the farmers who are producer. So 1946 started. Shri Tribhuvan Das Patel was the founder chairman. He started, he went village to village forming cooperative, telling the farmers the benefit of cooperative. And they got registered in 1946, started with 2 village cooperative society with 246 liters of milk. But when they started, 2 years they struggled, because they had no technical know-how. Whatever milk they were collecting, they weren't able to process it. Milk was getting curdled. And then he saw next door, there was a government creamery. He saw a young, bright chap, Dr. Varghese Kurian, who had returned from Michigan University after doing post-graduation in mechanical and dairy. And he was sent by Government of India for 6 months to do his apprenticeship, because he had gone on Government of India scholarship. So he got friendly with him. So once this, but Dr. Kurian was not happy. Dr. Kurian is not only highly educated, but from well-connected family. His one uncle was India's first finance minister. One was the Tata chairman. And you can imagine, from such a background, he wanted to finish this 6 months apprenticeship and go back. But he met Tribhuvan Das Patel next door. And Tribhuvan Das Patel used to chat with him, tell him what are his problems, what farmers are facing. So he started side by side helping Tribhuvan Das Patel in managing his small chilling station. And on his advice, Dr. Varghese Kurian advice, Tribhuvan Das Patel ordered one pasteurizers to import. And by that time pasteurizer arrived, his 6 months were over. And then he went to Tribhuvan Das Patel to say bye-bye, that I'm going back to Bombay, I'll enjoy my life. And that time, Tribhuvan Das Patel told him that, look, Dr. Kurian, he was Kurian that time, Kurian, you advised to import this pasteurizer. Now pasteurizer come and you are going and we don't have any technical people. Why don't you stay here for 2 months, erect it, train my people and then go. And Dr. Kurian agreed, okay, let me help these farmers also for 2 months. So he stayed there for 2 months. He promised to stay there for 2 months. And then you can understand he stayed through his life for 61 years in Anand. And why that? You see, as a HR person, you have to see how a villager, a farmer leader, Tribhuvan Das Patel, could attract, retain, motivate, inspire such a educated, well-connected, ambitious professional. That is the area to be looked at. And that is because of the organization culture comes at the end. It's basically, when people talk what is the reason of success of Amul even after 72 years, I think this is the best example of fusion of political leadership and professional leadership. Political leader Tribhuvan Das Patel and professional leader Dr. Varghese Kurian, and day after day, because of this, we are very fortunate at getting such leadership, political and profession. Amul is growing. And today's world, that is going to be very, very difficult. And you see, Amul has become #1 in dairy in India. We do not have, or we do not have any comparative advantage that here lot of milk production was there, or farmers are very entrepreneurship are very, very hardworking like Punjab, or good climate like UP, or lot of water, a lot of green fodder. No. What has become, it is all our earned advantage because of leadership. So what I want to say is, any organization, if it wants to have to become ageless and still thriving and iconic, the leadership is very important. And HR or HRD has to see how to create leaders, not only simple employees or professionals. You see, I'll give you more examples. Amul was growing, and one day Government of India, Lal Bahadur Shastri, decided to replicate Amul model all over India, and job was given to Dr. Varghese Kurian. He started National Dairy Development Board, and White Revolution started under Operation Flood 1, 2, 3. And that time, Dr. Kurian needed lot of rural managers to spread, to replicate Amul model. It was late 70s. And Dr. Varghese Kurian was also on board of this institute where you are sitting, Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. He was on the board. And he, in the one of the board meeting, he requested board that, look here, you are all, you are getting the best people, they are going out, joining lot of companies, and have got a very big project where livelihood of millions of people doing. Why don't you give me few of your pass out or your graduates to work in my organization? And one of the director, puffing cigar, said, Dr. Kurian, you want our managers to milk your cows? And that time Dr. Kurian walked out the meeting. He said, no, let them sell shampoos and soaps. I'll get my own. And he went back. That day he thought, I have to start a separate professional institute to create rural manager. And then he founded Institute of Rural Management, Anand, IRMA. He took Dr. Ravi Mathai, who was the founder of, director of IIM Ahmedabad there, a lot of other faculty. Fortunately, I am from the first batch of IRMA. So that was the, he felt that if he needs managers for such type of ordinary management graduates will not come. Who will go and work in a village? You imagine Dr. Kurian, when 1948, he went Christian, no parks, no club, no facilities. And also, he could not get place to stay on rent because he was Christian, non-vegetarian, and unmarried, so he had to stay in a garage. But still, passion, inspiration has really, and that is why he could, he could create history. Because of him, India, which was deficit in milk till 70s, not only we became self-sufficient, but we became world's largest producer of milk. And where USA was #1, and we won 1/4, today we are 1.5 times more than USA. It is all because, so one professional with the passion and dedication can create. So he started IRMA, he said, I want to create 100 Koreans. So this is what is, we are very lucky that, people who are in our Amul are, we are the third generation, but we had opportunity to work with the founders. I had opportunity with Dr. Kurian for more than 30 years, or Tribhuvan Das Patel. Coming to our areas where you people will be interested, like HR side, is like recruitment, a very interesting subject. We generally recruit from India's different level, best institute, management institute like IIM, IRMA, X-ray, all the best of the institute we go. We also try to get whatever best people we can get. But we recruit only at that level, no lateral recruitment. All people who are with us, it's not that everybody stays with us, but in the top team, I can say 95% are on their first job. So they come, some people leave in 2-3 years, but then they go up. Average, you say that people in the top management, general managers are 22 years with us. Middle level is around 16 years, and executive level is around 10 years. Even at from A class, management institute are taken on the senior executive level, and that the B or C class are taken at the fields, territories, and general. But generally, all recruitment is done at that level, and then they are inducted well. So, yeah. I'll tell you. You see, it's basically how to induct them in the organization. You see, when we take them, first is they are, they are accustomed to the various life. We call it yatra. Yatra. They are actually, first they go and see for whom they are working. When they go and see in the villages that they are working really for the have-nots who really need the professionals, and not for the people who are in the Bombay and the that what is called the Queen Necklace, or the big people, or the, and they are also realize that okay, I'll tell you, Dr. Korean, from his book I Too Had Dream, he mentioned working like this. Working with the cooperative, I realized that when you work only for your own profits, the pleasure is transitory. But if you work for others, there is a deeper sense of fulfillment, and if everything is handled well, money too is more than adequate. So, when it is basically the how to inspire and how to bring what is dedication out of people, and then when they see themselves that for whom you are working. People say that when you work for the farmers, poor farmers, there's no need to go to the temple. You are coming to, you are earning your livelihood, but then you don't need to do anything else. You're meeting all your requirement. And I think it all depends on the culture. What type of culture? And let me tell you, culture is like a religion. It is not developed overnight. It takes decades. And when culture comes, or it is like a religion, you stop questioning the things. You get into it. You follow it blindly. So that is, we are lucky about that. After induction, we have last been more than 25 years, one more model which we are following very religiously is total quality management. In 91, when Indian economy was liberalized and we've thought a lot of competition will emerge, we sent a number of people to Japan for total quality management. There is an institute called ATUS. And there we learned a lot of practices like Kaizen, small group activities, housekeeping, etc. And we are doing it religiously. Not only I'm saying in our organization, you go to any village, they know what is housekeeping, what is Kaizen, etc. and small group activity. And very good practice of what we are planning is we are doing Hoshinkanri, policy deployment, where once in 2 months, everybody comes and plan for the future together. What are the goals? What will be the role of individuals sitting like this for 2 days or 3 days, depending on which vertical. And that is working well. Then we are not to tell, as a CEO, I may be thinking this side, and other people may be thinking in one direction, everybody thinks. And everybody knows what is going to be his or her role to achieve that goal. So that is very good. The other area which I think, one more thing is that in Amul, you are from HR side, you know Maslow need of hierarchy. In our organization, Maslow need is totally, so grassroots people are on the top. They are our owners. And this is the only organization where you find the standard of living, their lifestyle of owner is much lower than the employees. So then employees also feel, before asking too much, then what is my owner doing? What is his stand? How much I should demand? New product development, lot of people ask me that in Amul, you come out with a lot of products, and we see that in other companies, they launch 10 products, 8 fails. In Amul, you launch lot of products, and generally it's selling. General our score is out of 10, 8 or 9 will succeed. And every year we launch 40 to 50. And let me tell you, we do not have any new product development or R&D division. We do not have. What we give jobs to, any idea, any young girl, anybody gives any idea, we feel it is okay, we give that assignment to 2-3 shop floor people or production people, okay, because they are the actual doers. So we give problem, okay, like one girl said, ki, I like garlic bread, so I have to apply garlic bread, garlic paste, then butter, and then put it. So we thought, why not launch garlic butter? So we gave problem to 2-3 our factories people, and then they work on it. They come out with 3-4 recipes. We taste it, but food is such a thing you do not need any research. Because, you see, it's very simple. In India, I mean, India is basically middle class or lower middle class dominated society. Amul is owned by lower middle class. Fortunately, our organization, most of the people are middle class. So our taste matches with the target segment. So every day, evening 6:30, we have got tasting session from some factory, something is coming. So we test it, if it is okay, we say, or any improvement is required, we say, do with it. After 3-4 testing, once the product is finalized, we tell the other factories also freeze this recipe and start production. So we have seen from conception to execution, maximum it takes 3 months for a new product. Because and second is, once you develop the product, ownership is there because it is going to be produced by the same people who have developed it. Otherwise, what happens if new product is developed by the different people and you give to the factory, he'll bring 10 faults, why it cannot be done. And then everybody owns it. So that is the area where I feel we are different. So I thought of sharing with you. Ours is a very, very flat organization. I mean, it started, it's in our genes. I remember I was the simple branch manager there in Ahmedabad. About, my age was 26, 27 years. After 4 years. I used to, we launched Dhara edible oil. And Dr. Varghese Kur, who was the chairman of NADB, every Monday morning he used to call me on phone. He said, "Odi, what is happening in the field? What consumers are saying?" No hierarchy. And nobody used to mind it. That is true now also. I mean, any young, graduates we take, I don't think anybody is with whom I don't interact. It's an open door. Anybody can walk in to talk, take. So that is where I think is there. And one thing more, professionals. Farmers have got great respect and trust on professionals. Because on my board, there are 18 board members, all are farmers or milk producers. No other professional. I'm the only professional. And they respect and trust so much, millions. Every year we invest around $150 to $200 million. Every year. But they will not take more than 2 minutes to approve big project. Because they know this professional, they must have done it. Only question which they ask me in the whole meeting is, how much price of milk you will give to the farmers? That is the only question they can. Other thing they leave it to the professionals. So that is the trust. Today, $5 billion organization fully left to the professional and the board member are not that much aware about the things. So, I think why it has happened is basically, it's the Amul which is today is, people working, a professional working, the missionary zeal. Missionary zeal. And that cannot come by giving lot of money or parks and everything. No doubt, when I talk to people with the network with other companies also, people say that we get best people, Goldman's people from best of the IIMs and best. I do respect one organization, and that is where their organization is very efficient, cost efficient. But what I feel is, in today's world, more than that is required. One is required is you want dedicated and people with the passion, dedication, passion, and then the third thing is very, very important is integrity. I remember when we were passing out from the IRMA, and Dr. Kurian was the chairman, so one day just sitting like one fellow asked Dr. Kurian, sir, you are the chairman of so many organizations, you recruit so many people, so what do you look for when you recruit or employ a professional from a management institute like this? So he said, I look for three things when I recruit anybody. What are those things? He said, first thing is integrity. Second is integrity. Third is integrity. He says when you are working for such a public organization, for so many humans involved, and if you are passing out for good management institute or good education, so I not to look your IQ and other thing. You are smart enough. But what makes you different than is integrity. And integrity, it is either 0 or 100, nothing gray or in between. And I have got umpteen numbers of examples in our organization where it was not tolerated. Even small deviation in integrity was not tolerated, however good or bad person was there. So, value system of dedication, commitment and passion has been given. And we are lucky that because, you see, I sometimes surprise, you see, overnight organizations are formed. Thousands of people are recruited, top level, middle level, lower level, from different organizations. Different, and all have come from different organizations, different value system. So what would be the value system of that organization, or what would be the, I mean, say DNA, and the culture. Culture, and that is where you see that such today life of organization is much, much smaller than what it used to be earlier. Always, I mean, culture and value system of organization is very, very important. I mean, these things are easy to talk to me and other people. I mean, you should be very committed, you should be dedicated, you should have a value system, everybody will talk to you. But it has to be shown by demonstration. Now, I think time is over, so I'll now conclude. I know you all. See, now what are the challenges before you? Dr. Pesanji talked about 3H, heart is more important. But I may be wrong, you are the expert. But I'm telling you in today's world, I was recently to USA, so I had 3-4 friends. So all of professionals, so I asked what is the culture, what is the life. So the 2-3 things which they told me, it was very astonishing. They say CEO means maximum 2-3 years in the organization, quarterly, and then maximum organization 2-3 years CEOs change. And as the CEO changes, all the head of the department will also go with him. Wherever he goes, all will join. Or they'll be thrown out. So what I found, neither there is a loyalty from the employees to the organization or from organization to the employee. There is no loyalty, no trust. Everybody is working on selfish goals, organization also and the individual also. Because Dr. Pesanji mentioned heart, but I don't think gradually in India also, I mean, heart is going out. Heart was earlier. Now selfish motive is coming more. And in today's world, it is the biggest challenge for the HR people. How the today's professional who is having very inspired with lot of knowledge, how to see that that fellow, he does not become selfish, self-centered, short-sighted, and become monkey from one branch to another, from one company to second company and third company and fourth company. And more than that, you see, that is a small challenge. I think today, if HR people have to work, they have to work more on the organization and the management and such policies so that these policies or culture can get best out of this young professional by inspiring them, by motivating them, and by giving them very, very good environment in the organization. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words and insight of Amul It's truly the pride of India, and it's a gift that we all love. That was the tagline for the Amul chocolates once upon a time. May I now request Dr. Rajeshwari Narendran to come forward and congratulate all the conference delegates. Dr. Rajeshwari Narendran.
Well, I know many of you need to catch the flight, and a lot of patience you have kept all these 4 days. I know the kind of time management I was trying to pull from each one of you. I was always pushing people, and they were thinking, this lady is not allowing us to eat and drink and rest, and what is she doing? And still I felt that being a host, it is the most important responsibility to say that I'm there, but still I want all of you also to be there. Yeah. And sorry if anything has hurt you. All apologies if anything has been wrong. Anything that has lagged, it is my falter, and I am standing in front of you, humbly bowing my head. If anything has gone wrong, please, my apologies. And if anything you feel you are taking home from here as positive, that team AHRD India, consisting my team members, Marlin, Savita, they are there, Aftab, Jyotu, Aparna, and untiringly Dr. D.M. Pastonji, untiringly Dr. D.M. Pastonji, and my dear most friend Rajeshi with the babies in the Pennsylvania, where, and thank you my dears, you have done a wonderful job. I would give a big hug when this conference comes to an end. Well, I have no words to express when I want to say thank you as a friend's call. Karthik, I know it was very short, a stint to talk to people, but you made me feel so proud that you kept your promise. Thank you so much for honoring us from being here. Well, I really want to thank Dr. D.M. Pastonji for so many things, but being the guest of honor and giving that, the heart thing, of course, we all are missing so many beats every day, and I don't know where the HR is leading to, whether it is going to remain human or is going to become resource, or whether it is going to remain in our hands and for how long, that we will have to take care of. Yeah, one thing Mr. Sodhi was telling, that there is no hierarchy in Amul, and I must confess here one thing, that when our letter, our email invitation went, he was the one who responded personally. I really want to clap for him. Usually there would be a band of personal assistants or somebody else, but he has been personally responding. And that is where I see that he is not just preaching here, but there is really, it is there in the DNA. Thank you so much, sir. And you said that you do not know human resource management or development, but I see you are sitting at the epitome of that, and you very well articulated every thread which binds human resource development so very well that we are so honored to have such a wonderful valedictory address by you. Thank you so much. It's a deep honor. I have great respect for Gary and Ron, who have done the best. And of course, being there and telling that we are there, and all the participants who have come from all over the world and all the nooks and corners of India, a great thank you. You have been wonderful participants and have been bearing me all these days, but you made me smile. You have made my day, and you have created history for Academy of HRD in India and presumably AHRD at the global level. I hope so it is going to happen. My thanks are due to Wendy Rona, Rajeshi, and of course my very dear friend Sangamitra Jha here, who have done a lot, including Rick Holden, who has done wonderful work, staying behind. the entire board of AHRD India, and all the professors and all the support from IIM Ahmedabad, including this beautiful venue. The MLSU who has supported with all the students of Masters in Human Resource Management sitting here, and those who have been, around you, taking care of so many things, and led by the research scholars. And I really I wish to thank Dr. Sanjay Jain, Lavesh, and all my research scholars who are sitting here, Hemendra, Dushyant, Dharmendra, and all these names are, by the way, God's names. And Jaswant and Pradeep and all those who have done wonderful work. And love you boys and girls for whatever you have done. I know you had a lot of hard hitting from me, but I always wanted you to learn from this wonderful gathering and galaxies of luminaries. And there was no other intention. Thank you so much for being there. All the fellow students of my Academy of Human Resource Development, can you just wave around? You have been there and you have, done a wonderful job being a great support to the entire conference, taking care as coordinators, supporters, or wherever we said, please do this, please do that, and you have been running around. And despite you wanted to learn so much, but you presented well as well. So thank you one and all. I'm not going to take your name because I feel you are here sitting in our hearts, but definitely have done a wonderful work. Thank you so much of all the Academy Fellows. All the panelists from across the globe and within India, all the presenters, thank you all, because without you, we would not have been there. And of course, all the sponsors, I would specifically once again mention Life Insurance Corporation, which gave life when it gave the finance or the money support or the assurance. We are there, don't worry. Hold this whole big conference. Go ahead, there should not be any dearth of the support. And LIC, a big thank you to you. And we salute your spirit. And as the chairman said, even beyond this conference, we are going to be along with you in AHRD, wherever you, because he saw the substance in AHRD, and we are going to fulfill that promise. We say that from the core of heart. Thank you so much. Our other sponsors, ONGC, Indian Oil, Oil India Limited, Adani, NTPC, ACPCL, Gujarat State Petroleum Corporation, Flourish, Mohanlal Sukhadia University, and the AVA who has been supplying you the water. Everything has been taken care by them, and I owe a very huge thanks to them. And believe me, if we are going to make any surplus, absolutely sorry. If at all we are going to have any surplus of this conference, that is going to be dedicated to a research fund where we would see that how can we support somebody at the grassroots level who can make a transformation in HR. That is our promise to you. Of course, my MCs, Meenakshi and Shrishta, you have been supporting us. Thank you so much. And all these silent supporters, husbands and wives of my team. And Jyotu is a bachelor, so never mind. So they have, they have suffered rather more when they were all tensed. I think they might have given you the cushion, including my husband sitting here, yeah, who have been giving us the silent support despite being, seeing that, oh, they are under tension and we should, we should bear their tensions and we should bear their harsh words and we will not disturb you. Carry on. And that's where, thank you all, my extended family who have given the support. The conference personally has given me a lot of learning in OB lessons, behavioral lessons, because we came across some of the tough situations. And we also learned some of the very, very business knacks, maybe, something, yeah. And so, anything you want? Yeah. Definitely, and it's time to say goodbye, but not for today. But I think you are giving us a lifetime relationship, and we value you a lot. Once again, thanks a lot, each one of you. You have made us believe, yes, small can be beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. If I have forgotten to thank you anyone, please Bear with me. I am overwhelmed by you, and maybe that's where I forget. Yeah. Anybody who would like to say anything? Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.